And we're live.
We're live. Well, you're barely live.
Barely.
Yes.
I'm here.
Right. Yeah. We'll make it through. We'll make it through.
Let's see. So, good morning, everyone. It is August 19th. It is.
Oh, already.
It's Friday.
It's Friday
because C's off. Okay. Yes, it is Friday, August 19th.
Oh, you need post-its today. That's how.
Damn. Yes.
That's how we know. That's how we know that you're not feeling well. You need post-its.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So,
right.
yeah. So let's get this party started.
All right. Here we go.
All right. There we go.
Infamous gunslinger Desmond Gibbons, better known across the Wild West as the Cactus Kid, comes to the sleepy town of Clarkson. Trouble finds him in the unlikeliest of sources, the sheriff. After their conflict, the Cactus Kid finds himself inexplicably wearing the badge of a lawman. Later, while on the trail of a serial killer, he and his deputy run afoul of a powerful druid, and the events that lead to the Cactus Kid's transformation into the hulking, four-armed projectile reptile are even more than the druid bargained for. From the Wild West to current-day Los Angeles, where he meets superheroes Black Eagle and Red Hawk, and forms an uneasy alliance with the stunning but deadly Kitty Hawk. Join the projectile reptile on a journey of gunslinging druidic magic, superheroes, and artifacts. Projectile Reptile from Dojo Kun Comics, only on Indiegogo. Are you ready for the truly Wild West?
Eager Raven returns to Kickstarter in its first trade paperback, collecting issues 1 through 4 in one full-color volume. Eager Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, is the story of a unicorn princess exiled into the mortal realm after she is betrayed by her elf prince husband-to-be. Dragons overtake her kingdom, and how she trains to become a knight with the help of an unusual trio of blacksmiths. It's a mature audience telling of the classic hero's journey with a soap opera twist. So check out Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, Volume 1 today.
Are we there already?
We're there.
Oh my goodness. So good morning, everybody. Another Friday here at the Indie Comics Network, because I even have that on a Post-it note so that I remember what we're called now. No, but I'm pretty sure we're done with our tweaking and the changes that we do to make this a better place for everybody. A better network for you and your loved ones. So who's joining us in the chat today?
We got Past Masterdan, a Facebook user who I'm going to assume is Keisha. Maybe, I don't know.
Clear yourself.
Yes, Pops Van Zant and
hello.
Rob
Good
Multari.
morning.
Good morning.
Rob. Hello. Yes, I mean he has a campaign coming up soon too. For Snowpaw
issue 2.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one too. So that's a lot of good campaigns coming
Look at
up.
my psychic.
There we go. And yes, and we see you, 9 people watching us from regions beyond. We know you have your reasons, but why don't you come on over to YouTube? Come on over, subscribe to our channel, join the sexy people in the chat. It's like, so we have some fun conversations, but it could be you're at work and you just want to listen to us or whatever, but that's okay too. That's fine. Thank you for joining us this morning. You could be listening to anybody else and you decided to listen to us. So for some reason.
Sorry for you.
So I guess let's get this officially started. So hello, everybody. My name is Daphne Lage, and I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I've been self-publishing comics since 1992.
Jesus, Daphne, could you please get enthused?
Yeah, I know. It's Friday. It's 90 degrees in the office again. I just got a $300 bill for all the air conditioning. And it's like, oh, I guess we're sweating a little bit today. So, yes, I've been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I am known for the funny animal fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which I just sent out the last of the Kickstarter rewards for this campaign. So thank you, everybody, for supporting volumes 1 through 4 of Thieves Quest. If you ordered a sketch cover, those will be next. Those are the last few rewards that I will be sending out. But pretty much everything else this campaign is 99% fulfilled. So thank you, everybody, for supporting it. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, launching Monday, right here on the show, on Kickstarter. I can't believe that we're already at volume 1, collecting issues 1 through 4 of the series. I really can't believe I'm at this point already. Yeah, I was just looking through some stuff and realizing where I was at last year at this same time, and it's just like I still can't get over it. In the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com, and eagleworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can check out all my videos online on how I make my comics on YouTube at Daphne Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So make sure you come on over to both our channels, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, so you don't miss out on any of our streams when we go live. And then we usually have a show going live every day, so don't miss out on that. So Nita, I know you two are kind of feeling a little sluggish today, but
yeah.
you can make it. You can make it.
Yes, my name is Nita Lanning. I am a writer, vlogger, blogger, editor, promoter, whatever. I am also the CEO and executive producer of the Indie Comics Network and Ragin 2 Services and Promotions.
There you go. Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. So do we have any housekeeping to go through before we kind of get started? Or
okay. Still going. Sunrise Blossom. I think she's got like 17 days left.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got
everything's in the show notes.
Yeah, it'll be in the show notes, and of course, we got Eagle Raven, Tall Tales, and you want to ship your shit in style.
Exactly.
Yes, send your products undamaged to whoever, wherever, whenever. Just use our coupon code when you go to Gemini Comics Supply Store, Ragin2. Save yourself 5% on your mailers. Here, Daphne, do it.
Oh, yes. And if you want to ask us a question, you have a comment, or you want to you want us to talk about something specific on the show, have an idea or a topic, you can email us at raginabc@gmail.com, and Nita will take care of that. And we will, and pretty much it's like, look, so far everybody has been asking us some really, really awesome questions, even in the chat. Right. So you see, if you join us in the chat, you don't have to send emails.
There you go.
So, but if you can't join us in the chat, send us an email. You have a question, we will be more than happy to answer them.
And we're bringing Sexy back.
Oh yes, House of Bob returns. So yeah, oh my God, are we already 2 weeks away from the next episode? I mean, good grief. So yes, so what let's 27th. See. So the last day of last Saturday of every month, we have this adults only live stream where I draw and have conversations with Nita about stuff that is not appropriate for the daytime crowd. And at a new time as well. We will be broadcasting the new episode at 8 p.m. 8 to 10 p.m. So Eastern, yes. So at least that way I can actually get to bed on time.
What is that?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, hey, it's like we're old. So, that's how it goes. We have a bedtime, we have to stick to it. There's a routine, and that's the thing. So the topic for this upcoming episode is actually we kind of like let's see, it's about sexy without being sexual. This whole trend about how everybody's beautiful but nobody's horny, you know, type of thing. So we're gonna have like this very strange conversation, as we always do, on the next House of Bob. So join us there. It, like I said, is an adult only stream. You will have to verify your age to be able to watch it, but it's all fun. We have fun. We have good conversation. You know, you get to see some naughty artwork, and you know, that's pretty much that. But I can't believe we're already in the middle of August already. Oh my goodness. So what's been so like I said, you're a little under the weather today, but anything you want to anything you've been up to, or just the usual?
Just the usual right now. And it's last night Hasm wrapped up the Roadkill Rampage.
Right, and
they did great.
They said it was, I think, their most successful campaign yet, right?
I believe so. Yes, yeah. I am. So that was awesome. So congratulations to Rob. Oh my God, Rodney and Tina. Because Rob's popping up and I'm reading comments.
Oh, there we go.
I am super fucking congested in my head. I'm having a hard time focusing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, let's see. We've got Patrick over there. 10
oh, hey, Patrick. Yeah.
8 to 10 p.m. Eastern.
8 to 10. Yeah, 8 to 10. So it's even earlier. Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, we're still playing around. Exactly. We're still playing around with the hours. So you know, but we kind of figure let's start. It better to be. Yeah, I know. That's how it's feeling. That's how it's really feeling, honestly. Yeah, we're playing around with some different hours just to kind of like see if we can try to accommodate everybody, you know, because like I said, the 10 to midnight was a little too late for me when we would end, and a lot of people were kind of saying that's like, oh, you know, it's like I'm doing this or I'm doing that. So it's like, so we're bringing it up, and we're seeing how that works out. So yes. There you go. So a lot of things were popping up today. So on my schedule today, I am just finishing up the next 8 pages for Eagle Raven issue 6. So that would put me up to page 16, which is literally halfway through the book. I'm hoping to, my plan is to finish the inking on this stack of pages, prep it, and then get it to the flatters. I already got the first 8 pages back from the flatters. So now it's like I'm sending like the next 8. And yeah, so we're just chugging along. I mean,
Daphne's being polite, Patrick.
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
It's because we're fucking tired.
Right,
Midnight is time to be stoned and watch movies, not sit here and entertain people.
Right, yeah.
Midnight's the time for us to be entertained.
Right, yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, like I said, it just works better for us, and coincidentally, it seems to work better for a lot of people too. So, well, like I said,
that's right. Just if you ever need anybody, I'm AB negative. Hang tight, friends.
So I'm halfway. I'm pretty much halfway through the book. It's not the schedule that I originally intended, but I think in the end, that's one of the things that I had to kind of learn to get through. Is, you know, it's good to have a schedule. It's good to put yourself on a schedule. Because it's very important for me to have a deadline. But at the same time, it's also important to realize what you can actually do, you know, and adjust accordingly. You know, I'm still a year. There you go. Excellent.
Plenty of catch-up tears too.
Yeah, exactly. The next campaign not only will be for the trade paperback, I will also have the individual issues as well. Because my original plan was to just do the trade and discontinue all of the individual issues. But I had people contact me going, oh, could you not do that? You know, like they understood about the variant covers and whatnot, but not the main issues, because I guess to people who just like to collect them, or they prefer to read those, either they put the trade away and they put the individual and they read the individual issues, or vice versa. So there we go. So she will be able to get her own collection, her own set, on the next campaign, however she prefers it. So I had to adjust my schedule accordingly. I'm still ahead, which is the important part, because this issue is not scheduled until next year. So I'm very confident I can finish the next trade paperback, volume 2. There we go. So we also have Bloodwing Angel also launching soon. So yeah, like I said, a lot of campaigns coming up. So I think in the end, the important thing is that I'm ahead of my schedule, regardless of whether I have the buffer that I want. Because the buffer that I originally want became unsustainable, especially when the novel became involved. The novel forced itself upon me. And and for everybody keeping track, I am currently at 62,137 words. I am literally at the last 5% of the book. I have to admit, Nita, I never thought that writing an action scene would be so hard.
But I told you why. Because you're visual as an artist, you're used to drawing that. Dialogue comes easy.
Yeah. So. I mean, because it's like, I got to a certain point in the novel, which for those of you listening to the first time, this is the novel that comes after the Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn comic series. So there's the first 15 issues, and then the story that comes after that is going to be an illustrated novel. And I'm almost through the first draft of it, and I hadn't written, and I hit a certain point. And then I stopped for a couple of weeks. I just kind of ruminated on it for a bit. And then it's like there was a flurry of activity. I was just like, okay, this is it. This is it. I'm just getting through the scene. And and it's like I was just really, really surprised how hard it was. And the only way that I kind of was able to get through it was, short of actually drawing it out, I was really, really visualizing these scenes in my head, kind of like a movie, and then challenging myself to describe what I was visualizing.
Right.
I was doing that throughout the book. If I had wanted to, okay, the scene happens in a certain environment, so I would find similar environment pictures online, and then I would sit there and stare at it and go, it's like, okay, how would I describe this? And then that's how I would kind of write it, kind of transfer that into the book. It's like, okay, that's how I'm going to do that. But man, an action scene. I mean, yeah, it's like this was the part that it's yes. There will be an audiobook. I've already started when I was doing the commercial, the bump for Eagle Raven, and doing the video for it really does. When I was doing the bump and the Kickstarter video for this latest Eagle Raven, I was testing out my new setup just for voiceovers. Nice. So I just have to tweak a couple of things, but I think I have a setup where I can actually do audio. I could finally do my audiobooks. I know I've been talking about this for the past year and a half, but I think I have. Well, but you see, but that's the thing, though. A dark and stormy night. I don't understand why that phrase is considered the worst opening line. Because it's concise, it's to the point, and you get that.
The story of my birth starts that way.
It's gets to the point. It's like I think that I mean there's a I don't know. It's like yeah, it's like but the thing is though, like in the end, what's wrong with it was a dark and stormy night? You know, I mean,
It's descriptive. It was dark. It was stormy.
Yeah, it's like sometimes I mean, because I think that I read a thing where they said that in order to like the whole point with the whole show don't tell, right?
Right.
Is that what you're really supposed to do is that if it's something that people do not know, that's what you describe. You know, that's what you would describe. I mean, if you know what a chair looks like, do you really need me to describe the chair? It's like if you know what a curtain looks like, all you need to know that there was a curtain there. You know, maybe
Grass.
you know, it's like maybe, you know, it's like oh, maybe it was an embroidered curtain or velvet curtain, depending on whether, you know, like that information is necessary. Because that's how that leads down the path of purple prose. You know, you don't need, you know, it's like you know,
Once upon a time, it was a dark and stormy night.
yeah, exactly.
It did herald the arrival of the.
And they looked unto us, be not afraid.
Fuck, man.
You know, so that leads down, yeah, so like I said, that kind of leads down the path of purple prose. But the thing is, right, if it's something that you actually need the audience to know what you're talking about, then that's where you put in your descriptors. And then it's like you get into, and then it's like there's this whole conversation about all the different rules. Oh, should you do this? Should you do that? I know Stephen King hates adverbs, and I say use all the fucking adverbs. You know, anything. It's like I never, it's like I never had a problem with a word that ended in ly. Yeah, it's like, you know, I mean, it's just. You know, it's writing. As long as you're telling the story that you want to tell, that's the important part. The kind of like the what is it? Like kind of like the foundational details is a kind of like a different thing. You know, your commas, your grammar. You know, it's that's all kind of different. But yeah, but I'm gonna find out. You know, how good or how bad my whole thing is once I get the first draft completely done, because now it's like we've already reached, you know, we've already hit, you know, the big fight, you know, now we're at, you know, we already at the little, you know, the dip after that. And now we're at the plateau, the whole like kind of like epilogue part of it. And I am exhausted. You know, I mean, like I said, it required so much.
Well, climax can be draining.
I know it really can be. You know, it was just so draining that I actually kind of like needed to sit on it for a while. So it's like, because now it's just kind of like, it's like if you're not descriptive, you sound too common. If you're overly descriptive, people get overloaded. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's that balancing act. Because yeah, there are certain scenes in my book where I'm like going, oh, it's like, did I put enough information? You know, I mean, like with the story, and what's funny is that with the story that as it is now, when it comes to description, I'm actually more concerned that there's a scene missing, but I'm not sure. You see, that's the thing. It's like, okay, like in terms of like, there's a little bit more to the story that maybe that there's a little bit more to the story that maybe the audience needs to know, but I'm not sure if that's the case. So, but like I said, that's what the beta readers are for. So, yeah, they'll tell me if there's something missing or not. So we'll find out about that. So yeah, so that was part of. That was the big adventure this week. So I'm getting a lot done. I'm happy with my progress, and yeah, it's just keeping that momentum, you know, which is probably like always the hardest part when it's about keeping up with Kickstarters, you know, especially when Kickstarters are dependent on these books, you know, because it's like. I have all my Kickstarters scheduled until 2025, and they're not exactly set in stone. Because again, it's like I don't want to lock myself into anything and have something come up, and then it's like I'm kind of like rushing or have to scramble. So it's like, okay, I'm working on issue 6. Issue 6 doesn't come out till next year. I'm good. And it's like, and that's kind of where I have to be. It's like, as long as my book is completed before the Kickstarter, I'm okay. And I have to just keep reminding myself that. So, and also speaking of Kickstarter, I was just bouncing an idea off of Nita yesterday. And and of course, I think I might have to squeeze in one more Kickstarter.
Never enough.
I think I need to squeeze in. So, for those of you who watched the House of Bob show, the House of Bob night stream. Thank you. Even I need cue cards right now. That we've talked about. I'm doing all this artwork to put together, kind of like a massive full color collection of all these pieces that I'm working on and that I have for House of Bob. But I think in the meantime, I think what I want to do to kind of like build up more interest is to, I know, me too, sir, me too. Is that I think I'm going to start putting out smaller Kickstarters for the rest of the sketchbook series that I originally meant to do when I did the first House of Bob sketchbook. I kind of think we're at a point now that people might be interested in more little sketchbooks. So if you want to, so make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. You're subscribed to my mailing list. You follow me on Facebook, because that's where I'm going to kind of like, once this kind of project comes together, I'm going to be talking more about it. So I think I'm going to put out a House of Bob sketchbook volume 2, probably for somewhere at the beginning of next year. It's going to be in the near future. It's probably going to coincide with the Tall Tales Peacekeepers trade paperback re-release. And we're going to do some fun stuff with that. So that's just, so I'm always doing something. I'm always busy here. So it's good to have a flexible schedule. So when I get little ideas like this, I can kind of fit them in somewhere. So that's what's going through my head. So we're hitting the half-hour mark, and there's a couple of things that I want to talk about that's more in general to Kickstarter, and also it's referencing a question that Nicholas had asked on the last episode. And I saw a couple of things this week that kind of dovetailed into it. So we can talk about that for a bit. So why don't we show some love, and we'll come back and we'll get to talking about our topic of the day.
Podcast is Critical Plus.
Hi, I am Joe D. McPhee. I am the host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, and I want to cordially invite you to watch our show Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. On our show, we will have different guests as well as talk about the comic book industry and pop culture. And every so often, I might actually do a drawing session or a 3D rendering session every here and there. So once again, I want to invite you to watch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on the broadcast channel that you're looking at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Hope to see you there. and make certain that you catch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.
There we go. So last time Nicholas had asked about building. How does he find his audience? I guess because it's like he's either finished writing a first draft of a novel himself. Everybody is writing novels. It's so much fun. Or he's in the process of finishing a novel. But either way, I mean, if anybody out there, if you're finishing your comic or whatnot, the one question that always gets asked is, how do I find my audience? And the funny thing is that we're still finding our audience. That's kind of that's like the magic question, right? It's like
the secret sauce.
Yeah, it's like, how do I find my audience? And what's funny is that I saw a Kickstarter the other day that kind of proved to me how important this part of the equation is, especially if you're just coming into this for the first time.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, and the thing is, though, it's like, for as long as I've been in this, like I said, I'm still trying to find my audience. I mean, I'm building my audience. It's very slow. Like, I haven't found like the obvious group of people, but I'm kind of building it slowly, right? But the thing is that, Kickstarter, everybody, it's like everybody looks at Kickstarter. And the problem is that a lot of people look at Kickstarter, it's like, oh, this is the place to make money and this, that, and the other thing. And I saw a campaign the other day where the person running the campaign put together a campaign. Well, they didn't even put together a campaign. It was literally just a paragraph with no information, the levels, and a video, which I didn't even bother watching. I mean, we're talking about it's like they never saw a Kickstarter before.
Right.
Like there were no graphics, there were no interiors, there wasn't any information about the creative team, about the story. There wasn't even a stupid pie chart.
Stupid, Daphne.
Yes, I know. They couldn't even do that. And honestly, it's like it was just like I had to shake my head at it, because it's like, they never did a Kickstarter before. This was their first Kickstarter, and it was just like, tell me you did not do research without telling me you did not do research, right? And it was just very frustrating to see that this person thought that they could just come in, do a Kickstarter, and everyone was just going to throw money at them.
Right.
And that's not how it works. That's not how it never works. It's like, unless it's like this, it's like, look, yes, Todd McFarlane raised several $1 million on Kickstarter. Brian Sanderson raised $40 million on Kickstarter. Brian Pulido regularly raises 6 figures on Kickstarter. Here's the thing. You are not those people.
Right.
And even then, those people, they had spent the last decades building up to something, building up to this point. They didn't just come in and like, oh, money. That's right. That's not how it works. But it really is surprising how a lot of people think that, because that's what it looks like on the superficial level. I mean, people look at me, well, I never heard of you before, and you're raising $6,000 on Kickstarter. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, fair enough. But the thing is, though, it's like you haven't seen the decades of work that took me to just raise $6,000 on Kickstarter. Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think for comics, I think it's probably, it floats around 30 to 40%.
Right.
Which means that, and here's the thing though, comics is one of the highest categories on Kickstarter to actually fund. So it's like video games, like tech, that's the worst area on Kickstarter. They have the lowest fulfillment, funding / fulfillment. Like they can fund fine, but like they say that about only 2% of tech Kickstarters actually fulfill.
In fact, they've talked about removing it in the past.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's how bad it was. But for comics, there's a 60% more, around 60 and up, fulfillment rate for campaigns. So technically, you have a better chance. I mean, it's a pretty safe bet to support a comic book Kickstarter. But the thing is, though, it's not just about doing a comic and slapping it on Kickstarter. You have to build your audience. Now, that's the thing. Where do you find your audience? Where do you even start? And to tell you the truth, the place where I started, and honestly, I think the place that we all should start, is having a mailing list. And that's kind of like my big regret with my mailing list is that I spent 10 years idle when I should, with that mailing list, when I should have been building it. Like, I don't know, at the time, I didn't really consider it that important because I didn't know what I was doing with it. I mean, this was like before Kickstarter. You would think that, we were selling stuff at conventions. So it's like, I wasn't really sure. It's like, okay, well, what do I need a mailing list for? But the thing is, though, I think that if I had spent that 10 years building that mailing list, I might be in a better position now. But, I can't say if that would be true or not. But that is a regret that I have. So if you want to start off building an audience, I think the easy as in you could just go to MailChimp and sign up, there's also, it's not just that MailChimp is the one that I use. There's other places too where you can create a mailing list, and you can send out newsletters and whatnot. And the idea is that I guess that when you go to conventions or, you go online or whatnot, and you ask people to sign up for your mailing list. Hey, I do a newsletter, I do updates, I do this comic, get some free previews or whatnot. It's like, if you sign up for my mailing list, you get free PDFs to download, so you can try out my comics and get updates on new issues. So that's kind of like the base of where I started, with building an audience. And it's like, yeah. And honestly, it's like, there is no like really shortcut way to do that. Do you have any anything to add with a mailing list?
With a mailing list, no, it's a slow build.
Yeah.
I mean, incentives to those who sign up. That always that helps with growth.
Right. Yeah. I mean, now the thing is though, because I know that's one of the things that I know a lot of people. Oh, I don't want to spam people or whatnot, which was an idea that I had to really get over. Because you see, the thing is that if someone signs up for your mailing list, they're agreeing technically to be spammed by you. Although there is
no, I am signing up to be notified by you, not spammed by you. Please don't be that person that emails me twice a fucking week.
Oh no. Well,
that's
I think
spam.
The most that I send out a newsletter is once a week, build up to a campaign.
Oh well,
but
okay, if you're live.
Yeah, and then especially if I'm live, I usually do an update once a week. So there's the pre-launch, 4 weeks before the pre-launch, I send out an email once a week, and then during the campaign, I send out a pre-launch. I send out a newsletter once a week. And that's the thing, because that's true. I signed up for an email that it literally said this is a daily email, and it got a little overwhelming.
It does.
Even
and then
though
then you
it,
fucking send it. Where do you send it? To your spam folder.
right, it's like, and it's like, and I would save them to read later, and then it's like I never would get to it, so I had to unsubscribe to the
Or
even
I
though
send
they
you
had
to
an
spam and I
option.
forget you exist.
Right.
You know, it's
So
like, oh.
yeah, it's kind of trying to find that balance. You see, and that's the thing too. It's finding that balancing act as to like how many newsletters can you send out? And I wouldn't recommend more than once a week, honestly. Because like I said, the daily ones the daily one that I was signed up for, it got way overwhelming. I didn't even make it through the first week. Before I had to unsubscribe. So yeah, so don't do daily email. So it's like, yeah, okay, don't spam people. Don't spam people. Yes,
Notify.
yes, they consented to be noted. Yeah, they consented to be on your newsletter, to get your newsletter. They did not consent to be annoyed by it. So yeah, so so that's the slow build. I mean, another thing that we did in order to help build our audience. Now, this one is a little controversial. um not a lot of people agree with this, but the thing is, though, it was something that was worth it to us, and we did see a noticeable push doing this. So we signed up for kind of like an online training program that's run by Comics Tribe. This is it's the list launch program. He also this is run by Tyler James. None of this is sponsored. We actually paid for this. And what it is that he gives you step-by-step instructions on how to improve your mailing list, what to do with your newsletter, how to word it, to get engagement, that whole thing. Like, he kind of like how to maximize your effort for the most return.
Right.
And I know that and you see, and I know people find this controversial because, like, why are you paying for information that you can find online for free? And it's like, yes, we can do that. We can find all this information for free. But we're at a point where it's more efficient for us to pay someone to aggregate that information.
Well, sure, because now you're paying somebody who's specializing in comics.
Right.
So and
Yes.
plus, yeah, sure, all the information's on the internet, but so are 20,000 other useless things.
Right.
For every detail. Because, I mean, think about it, man. Remember that rundown list we looked at?
Right. Yeah.
How much of that was bullshit?
Right. Yeah.
And how
You
many
see-
guys do we know following their Kickstarter
Right.
plan to a fucking T? And it's like,
Right.
Jesus Christ, half of
Well,
this list is bullshit.
Right. Well, you see, and that's the thing too. I know that we goofed on that list, which ironically, that list was from this program. It was from the other part of the program called Comics Launch,
Right.
which is specifically how to set up your Kickstarter. You see, that's the thing about this program. It's comic book specific.
Right.
You're not looking at general how to build your mailing list information. This is all information. Yeah, exactly. I think so too. It's like, it is a little expensive. He does have, payment programs or whatnot. But the thing is, though, I think that the information plus the networking aspect of it, because that's how I met Rob, that's how I met Jody. We were all on this group together. I met like a lot of people there that now it's like we're exchanging links and things. We're always, and I think it's like, yeah. So the list that we were goofing on was from this program. Now here's the thing, though. It's like, yes, we were goofing on it, but that's the thing, though. That's the thing about him, Tyler James, aggregating all this information.
Right.
That you get all the information at once. Okay, you try it out, and then you start weeding out the ones doesn't work.
Yeah, you find what works for you. I mean,
Right, exactly. For me, I don't think I really, really don't think the missing piece of my puzzle is a pie chart. I really don't. You cannot convince me of that. that there is no pie chart on my, I could raise an extra $2,000 if I just had a pie chart on my, it's a, no, so that's not going to work for me. Are there people who put pie charts on their campaign? That's their business.
And why Kickstarter? That's a big one that everybody's still doing. Why Kickstarter? Because we need the money to fucking print the books.
Yeah.
It's self-explanatory now.
Yeah.
The program, in the beginning, yes.
Right.
I understand. Why Kickstarter? Because people didn't know when it was new. We're 11 years into the future now.
Right.
We fucking know.
Right. We know. Yeah. It's, I mean, there was a bunch of things. We spoke about this list on a previous episode. So you can watch, so if you want to know how we felt about it, you can. Yeah. No shame. You know what? No shame. Well, we'll goof, but it's all good. It's all good. This is all love. You know that, Rob, right? So that's the thing. So that's one of it too. So it's like, so we paid for this program. We did see gains. We did see gains in our audience by doing this program. So that's kind of the.
It's beneficial, no doubt. No one ever questions that. But it's like it's the to the T's and
right. Well, I think, but also I think that, like I said, there are people who are salty at the idea. It's like, well, why do I have to pay for that information? And here's the thing: you don't. You don't have to pay for it. Yeah, you can find it,
but you're paying to have it already curated and fed to you.
Right. Exactly. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, because my father would always say, don't tell everybody your secrets. Don't tell all of your secrets, But you see, the thing is, though, is that from what I learned from looking at this campaign, is that you can lay it all out there. Yes, the information is free. We can tell it to you step by step. It's like, I can tell you everything. It doesn't mean you're going to use it.
No.
It doesn't mean that they're going to listen.
Right.
I mean, it's like there's people. I mean, Tyler James talks about people who literally go out of their way to bitch to him about how it's ridiculous that he charges for this free information. And it's like, okay, well, then what's stopping you?
Yeah, go get it yourself.
Right, exactly.
He's so much nicer than I am.
It's like, well, what's stopping you from doing your Kickstarter or whatnot? It's like, because that's the thing, because like you can tell 100 people to give 100 people the same advice, right? And you'll be lucky if one or two of them actually follow it.
Well, hell, the campaign that you're referring to, this dude knows.
Right. He's surrounded by people.
Looks like it's pathetic.
And it's just like, it's kind of like, so that's the thing. So that's like the really basic part, a newsletter, right? It's like having a mailing list, building a mailing list. Because also the benefit of a mailing list is that you control that audience. It's not like Facebook, when you have a Facebook group. You don't control that audience. If Facebook decides, I mean, it's like we've all fought the algorithm. It's like you put up a post and the Facebook literally tells you this only reached 10% of your audience.
Right.
And it's like, but with a mailing list, you deal with that audience directly. You built that audience. They answer directly to you. I mean, short of them everything ending up in spam folders or whatnot, but pretty much, they're your audience. They're not Facebook's audience. They're not Twitter's audience. They're your audience. And as long as you have their emails, you have direct. They're not, because technically they're not even MailChimp's audience. You can download those emails and transfer it to another program if you wanted to. So that's like the very basic way of starting a mailing list. But here's the thing, though. It is not fast.
Nope.
And you have to look at it in the long run. You have to look at it as a long game. I'm still building up the list. I'm still like, my list is like, I'm just close to 600 people on my mailing list. And here's the thing, though. I have 600 people, but less than half actually engage in my newsletters.
Right.
So it's a complete numbers game. The more people you have on your list, just because you have 100 people on your list doesn't mean you have 100 people who are actually engaged with your work. But that number seems to go with everything. Like
But
you
you
look
also
at,
have to take into consideration some of them are just straight up ignoring you.
right,
Okay? But then there are others who follow you other places who don't find it necessary to read your
Right.
emails when
Right.
they're in contact with you through other means of social media.
right, and then
So
also,
you don't want, so because somebody said the other day, if somebody's not using your mailing list, then you want to go through and filter them out and get rid of them. But you don't want to do
Right,
that
yeah.
because there are people. I can't tell you the last time I opened one of your emails.
right. But you told me something interesting though.
What's that?
You use your emails as a reminder
Yeah.
that there's a
Yeah.
Kickstarter coming up.
Right.
So because of that information, I started really, really wording my newsletter lines very specifically so
Okay.
that you didn't need to open it up. So, and I really do think that actually helped with my engagement when it came to um, my campaigns, even though it didn't register in the MailChimp algorithm.
Right.
But the thing is, though, every time I sent out one of these specifically worded emails, I saw a jump on my campaign. So people are reading the title, you know,
And
like
then heading to Kickstarter
then heading
without
over.
even opening it.
Right.
See, and that's what I do.
Yeah. So obviously you're not the only one doing that. Oh, Daphne has a campaign. Let me go check. I
Right.
already know where to find the link.
Right.
You know, so yeah, there's a lot of games to be played here. Another thing that we did that also is a little controversial, but we did notice a bump from this. Now, and here's the thing, though, where we noticed an engagement bump, not necessarily, oh, now we have more people on the list.
Right.
Because in the end, that's what you're looking for. Is that we also, this is also a pay thing, where there was a person, I forgot his name, where he would run like contests, very specific niche contests for like different types of fandom groups. And then what he would do is that he would collect those emails. Now, mind you, everybody who signed up for his contest knew he was doing this. It's not like he was just secretly collecting emails. So he collected the emails from this and telling them specifically that your email will be added to mailing lists that coincide with this interest. So that you would get more information on stuff. So what we did was that we paid for access to an indie comics list, and a fantasy list.
Okay.
And we put that in our mailing list. And mind you, sometimes you lose a lot of those people, but the ones that stay on your mailing list tend to be really engaged. And that's what we noticed too, that they were really engaged with our
Well, sure, you would.
Yeah.
But the thing is when you're somebody like me, I'm signed up to 200 plus fucking mailing
Right.
lists. So I mean, I'm not always gonna open everybody's email. I'm just not. So, but it's still good to have it there as the reminder. Too.
Yeah, exactly. So we noticed. So with that, we noticed that the people who stayed were really, really engaged with our work because we got them because the niche was so specific that it worked in our favor. So that was like another way we were able to make that bump. But honestly, though, so then by the time we got to Kickstarter, we had this kind of very modest foundation that was able to support our books. And then from Kickstarter, we started building up more and more and more. And the thing is, though, is that honestly, what also really helped too was doing shows like this, being really active on social media. I mean, building up an audience is not a passive thing. And that's the thing that everybody has to understand.
Network.
Yeah, it's like, even with the way we do the YouTube channel, we're always watching other people. There's very particular shows that I know that I watch that's like, okay, this is how you optimize your YouTube channel to retain an audience.
Right.
You know, and it's like, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like everything is about optimizing your presence so that you do get those eyeballs on you. Because I know a lot of people, we talked about despair, numbers despair, our previous episode, where people think, I can't get people to look at my stuff. They don't like me. No, it has nothing to do with you. All that means is that it's signal to noise, and you don't have the right eyes on you yet. And it takes a little bit to get those eyes on you. So that's the thing. So it's like, so start with a mailing list, definitely. Start building that up, especially now that convention season is here. You know, you get people to sign up for a mailing list. You know, get those cheapy stickers from Sticker Mule or whatnot. Here's a free sticker for signing up for my mailing list. You know, it's like, get that email address, you know, plug it in, and then just keep building, you know, build your audience there. And then you get on social media, you have the links to your mailing list everywhere, you know, learn to optimize.
Curate your social media accounts, people. That is so fucking important.
Yeah.
Those princes from India that you added to boost your numbers to make it look like you have 6,000 plus followers and friends, they are doing you no good.
Right, exactly.
Outside of your friends and family, if you're using social media at all to promote your business, that audience needs to be heavily curated.
Yes.
You need to be as specific as possible. People who are into comics, people who work in comics, people who publish, those type of creators, even your tabletop gamers and stuff like anything that would link the nerddom.
Right, yeah. It's like, it's kind of like, you kind, and also it's like you really have to self-reflect on what it is that you're selling. You know, like the type of book. It's like, you actually, because that's also the thing that comics launch and list launch, that they really helped us like kind of really think about our book. I mean, yes, we're doing art. I'm telling a story. I'm a storyteller. I'm an artist. But the book itself is a product. You know, what makes the book is art. What makes the book is story. But the book itself is a product that you're trying to sell. You know, just like, you know, when I do a live stream or whatever, it's like, this is, you know, it's like, it's like I do art on a live stream, but the live stream itself is content. So you kind of have to look at yourself, look at what you're doing, look at what you're offering, and really try to break down, well, who am I selling this to? Who do, you know, it's like, who are my, you know, what's my demographics? You know, it's like, try to kind of like really think about, you know, who buys your book. You know, it's like who you need to target. Like, I think like the most obvious thing that was very, so, you know, JD does the Oswald Chronicles, right? So it's like, yes, he's selling his book to people who like independent comics, but how do you break that down further? Right? So I don't know. For the longest time, he just thought that, oh, I'm just selling my book to people who like good books. Like, that's all he thought about it, right? That's all he thought about it. Until he began to notice at every single convention, you're selling to people who like your books, but who's buying your books? 14 to 17-year-old girls. You know? And the first time he realized that, he was kind of freaked out by it. You know, because like, you know, you see JD, it's
at
like
conventions, but
you
it's
know,
not 14 to 17-year-old
right,
girls on
right,
Kickstarter.
exactly. So that's the thing too. So it's like, you know, so he was just kind of like, oh my God. It's like, and I go, come on, really? You're surprised by that? A mouse that lives with a fairy, and you know, it's like, come on. But the thing is, though, but that's something to take into consideration. You know, now granted, demographics at a convention is different from demographics on a Kickstarter, because it's not kids, it's not 14-year-olds with their mom's credit cards on Kickstarter. You know, so yeah, so it's like, so kind of, so kind of know what, think about like what kind of book, what kind of demographics, who you should be targeting, what Facebook groups, you want to introduce yourself to, to kind of, expose, your book to them. It's like, hey, I do this book and I really do think that you guys might enjoy this type of thing.
Right.
But like I said, building an audience is never a passive endeavor. It requires you. This is the part that they never talk about when it's like, oh yeah, I raised, $500,000 on Kickstarter. They didn't just show up. They were just doing this on a larger level. It's like, this is the part. Exactly. It's like, this is the part that nobody likes to talk about because it's the boring part.
Right.
But it's like, it's boring, but it's necessary. So so that's like one of the things, because the Kickstarter is never the Kickstarter. That's that's pretty much what it is. And speaking of building that audience, it's like, look, I've been running Kickstarters for Eagle Raven since last year, and it's been a very interesting ride just on the 4 issues that I have under my belt officially on Kickstarter so far for that book. So and I'm really curious to see how much my work will affect this next campaign coming up, launching Monday, Eagle Raven Volume 1. We will be launching on the show on Monday. It's the Volume 1 and the prequel. And like I said, this is just, it's like, this is just another part of the learning process. This is a trade paperback, when before I was doing individual issues. I know for Tall Tales, trades kind of do a little bit not as well as individual issues, but I'm going to be trying a bunch of different things on this campaign to experiment with. Can I get a bigger audience for a trade paperback by doing these particular things? So even though I've been doing this for a while, I am still learning. So I'm still building my audience. I'm still trying to find the right people who'd be interested in this book. So and me, I'm more than happy to blab about my experiences so that you can learn from me, and learn what to do, learn what not to do. I will tell you everything. And so we're just hitting the top of the hour. That's kind of all I got right now. What you got any last words on this?
No, I said my piece.
Right, there we go. Yeah, it's like that's pretty much it. So so again, join us on Monday when we launch Eagle Raven Air the First Unicorn Volume 1. I think if everything works out today, I might actually have a surprise on Monday for the campaign, for everybody who pledges. There might be a special raffle for something for everyone who pledges during the show. So we'll see. Like I said, let's see if it works out today, whether Monday I'll have that. I'll have something, but there's something very special that I'm hoping to get today. So we'll see. So make sure you join us on Monday at 11 a.m. Pledge during that hour, and I will put everybody's name in a raffle for whatever this thing is that I might have on Monday.
Secretive.
I know, really. It's like so there you have it. So everybody just, what, if you're doing campaigns and you kind of feel like you've been neglecting your mailing list, get on top of that. It's like, start really concentrating on building your mailing list, build your audience. Remember, it's the long game, but it will be worth it in the end. I guarantee it. It's slow, it's tedious, it's not sexy, but it will be worth it. So on that note, we come to the end of another Friday. got a lot to do. We both got a lot to do. I'm sure everybody has a lot to do, but at least it leads into the weekend. So I hope everybody has a really good weekend. I hope you're productive. I hope you're getting the work that you want to do done. On that note, where can they find you, Nita?
Anywhere on social media as Nita Lanning, or Twitter at C_chaos247. Anywhere you find the Ragin banner.
There you go. And for me, if you want to see more of my work and everything else that I do and talk about and updates and all that fun stuff, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites. But I mostly post to Facebook, and especially last night, yesterday afternoon. Aren't you all glad you follow me on Facebook? So follow me on Facebook if you want to see all the cool, weird, and ridiculous stuff updates that I post on there. And remember that to sign up and remember to subscribe to the Indie Comics Network, to my channel at Daphne Lage Art, where you can see semi-weekly live streams when I remember to run them. It's like, every time I say I run a weekly live stream, that's the week I decide I can't do a weekly live stream. So they're there. You get notified. Hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I go live. And also in the meantime, also on EagleWorks, you can read the first 5 issues of Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, in its original black and white format. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a Lord of the Rings type of adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales online and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And running with the theme, don't forget to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Well, not only will you get free comic PDFs just for joining, but regular updates on our current and upcoming crowdfunding campaigns, because we got to tie it up in a nice little bow, right? So there you have it. Thank you again for showing up. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Thank you for everybody who was watching us from wherever you are. You stayed with us for the full hour. I hope you got something out of this. Thank you. You could have been doing anything else, and you spent it with us, and we thank you. And on that note, from the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work, because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. Keep it real, keep it going, just keep it moving. That's all I can say. So we'll see you Monday, and that's it for me.
All right, we're out of here.
Bye.
Bye.